Okay, it's beer o'clock again on the Real Ale Guide. Today's beer is a beer from the Stewart Brewing Company. At this stage I'd like to wish them the very best on their 8th anniversary in brewing up there in Scotland. They've sent me this really nice looking 8. It's described as a New World Belgian Abbey Tripel at 8% ABV. What do I expect from this beer just from the label? I'm expecting it to be very yeasty and Belgian-y with the yeast, and I'm expecting American hop presence. There you go. Let's get this beer open into a glass and see what we get. 8th anniversary, so 8% ABV. Beer pouring out into the glass. Ooh, it looks very much like a Belgian ale. It's quite lively. It's a big one finger white, slightly off tan white head. The beer in the glass is a deep ruby golden coloured beer. Nice hint of red on it. There's the best way to look at the beer, even with the light shining through, because if I lower the beer down it goes quite dark. It's probably in between, to be honest. Nice amount of carbonation. Let's get a nose on this beer then. Bubblegum. That classic Belgian Trappist yeast that they've got. Wouldn't be surprised if it was Westmalle yeast in this beer. It just smells really bubblegummy, to be honest, on the nose. I think the best thing to do is give this beer a taste. Cheers, Stewart Brewing, on 8th anniversary brewing beer up there in Scotland. Great characteristics, straight up. It's the importance about these beers for me, and how the Belgians kind of like to brew it, is refreshment but with loads of flavour. So the beer in the taste of the first mouthful is very refreshing. It almost washes your palate around and fills it really. I'm still breathing flavours now, but I'm just not concentrating on them yet. I'm concentrating on the first initial thing that I got, and that was just how juicy and refreshing the beer was. Good quality water in this beer. Okay, flavours then. Piney, that bubblegum, it's lemony, and the hops, although at the moment I'm picking up malt, a lot of malt on the finish, but it's bitter. It's sweet malt, which is kind of confusing. Sweet malt, bready malt, but it's bitter on the back end as well, and that indicates that there is that American influence on the beer. These New World triples are generally brewed with, pardon me, Belgian yeast, American hops. It's in the middle. There's so much going on with this beer that even though American hops are usually so kind of big and bold and they dominate the flavours, I beg your pardon, what you're getting here is the yeast dominating the flavours rather than the hops. It's very bubblegummy. It's very kind of, it's not quite sparkling. When I normally drink a Belgian ale, it normally explodes when it goes in your mouth and really does it's just the carbonation, the pure amount of carbonation in the beer. It's not quite at that level. But that's not to say it's not carbonated. It is nicely carbonated. Let's see if it's bottle conditioned. And we'll keep on hitting these flavours. It's a very complex beer to try and take apart and pull all of these different flavours out. There's a lot going on. Very complex, which can only be a good thing. The water quality is fantastic. Now, that flavour then, bursting with hops. You've got to try it in your mind what you're doing with this beer. You've got that taste of bubblegum in your mind. You go, right, let me do my best now to not pick that up in the next taste, and let's try and pick something else out when it's this complex. And yes, it is very nicely hoppy. There's lemon and orange, zingy, zesty orange, which could be either or. It could be from the yeast or it could be from the American hops. It's lovely and malty. And that's, for me, that's the twist in my mind. That is the twist, because when I normally try a Belgian ale, it's very yeasty, it's quite hoppy. You don't always get that malt. And for me, that's the twist. That's what gives it that new world edge. Rather than the hops, the malt, the malt and the yeast. It's the malt that is impressing me the most out of this beer. My mind keeps going back to it. So refreshing. So refreshing. Carbonation's lovely. Let's wrap this up. Carbonation's lovely. It's bubblegummy. It's piney. It's citrusy. There's a biting bitterness on the back end. In a short beer review, in the 8 minutes I've done this or recorded this beer review live to you guys so far, it's so difficult to pull this beer apart. There's so much going on, and it needs for you guys to go out and get a bottle of it, sit down and allocate yourself half an hour and just sit with it and try it and see how many, maybe get a pen and paper and write down all the different flavours you can pick up, because it's just so complex. Okay, yeah, I'm looking for the website really. It's probably just Google Stewart Brewing. It's 8% and it's their 8th beer on their 8th anniversary, the 3/8. Thanks for watching me, the Real Ale Guy. Put your comments in the comments box. I'm not even rated this beer. I couldn't give it an 8, could I? No, that would be just silly. One more taste. Give it one more taste. I hope you don't mind me going on into 9 minutes. It's so complex, and it just adds to the beer's dimension that is so complex. It could either in your mind be a Belgian triple, or in your mind you could pull it apart and it could be a hoppy American IPA, or in your mind it could be a really nice kind of malty Old English strong ale. In your mind it could be any one of them 3 beers, because the flavours and the ingredients want to dominate. and I'm just getting onto this now, and we're going into 10 minutes. That's the issue for me. Issue, it's not an issue. That's the, I suppose, yeah, you've got it. It's the issue of how to rate it. It's American beer. Is it a strong British beer? Or is it a Belgian triple? It's just so complex. So, I gotta rate it. It's gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 beer from the Real Ale Guide. One of the best beers that I've tried so far in 2013, without a shadow of a doubt. It's right up there. Just because of the complexity of the beer. I love it when a beer kind of pushes me to the limits. We're going into 11 minutes, so I will say cheerio for now. But thanks for watching me, the Real Ale Guide. It's a 9 out of 10 for Stewart Brewing's 8. It's the New World Triple. Please be sure to check that beer out. Absolutely fantastic. Put your comments in the comments box. Please subscribe to my daily beer reviews, and cheers.